go. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome back, Paula. It's been a few weeks, but we're back with part one, probably, of the conclusion to our fashion series. How are you?
Oh, I'm good, Campbell, and you?
Good. Getting through it all. Crazy. What happened to time? We're definitely in the quickening, man. Jeez.
Oh, absolutely we are. Night, day, night. It's just
Oh,
crazy. It's
it's so
crazy.
fast, everything these days, right?
Yep,
I'm
it
literally
really
getting
is.
done like half of what I used to be able to do. It's I don't know, it's crazy.
Well, I'm living between two homes at the moment as well. I live with my mother at the moment because my father's in hospital, and then I live at
Yeah,
home at the moment, which I am now. So hence why we've taken so long to do the update
to get
video,
it.
but
Yeah.
we'll get
Oh,
there. We'll get
I
there.
hope your dad's doing
So
well.
yeah, well, I don't think he's coming out, but anyway.
Mm,
He's 34 years, he's 94, sorry, years old. So he's seen a lot of life.
good innings,
He
eh?
was there before the Second World War. So he was in between the two wars. So
Jeez,
he's seen a lot,
he would have seen a lot, yeah, man.
and
For
he
sure.
absolutely loved our how we've come and our thought processes about the buildings and everything. Loved it.
Oh, cool.
He relates to that so much,
Oh,
so
nice.
much.
So he watches it. Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
Nice,
it was
nice.
really lovely. So
All
we'll
right,
get
well,
into
let's
it because I know
jump
you've only
into
got a
it.
short time because I
Yes.
don't think we're going to do it all in one.
All
So
right.
I'll just do my little spiel of what I've found. But this was
Spiel
written
away.
before my father got sick. I wrote a lot down because I was really struggling, Campbell, with how to present a conclusion because I just couldn't find the evidence that I was looking for, even though it was staring me in the face. So I'll just read you what I wrote 3 weeks ago. So um, So, unfortunately, going into the topic of my research and where it's taken me, I needed to rely on, as we all do, mainstream media narrative. And I never thought I'd be diving into this area, but thanks to my need to do textiles, which I was definitely led to do, and theorise where it all came from, uh, I was being guided, Campbell. I've been really looking into Marco Polo's travels, which is just fascinating because the answers are all there in plain sight. And I'm surprised no one has done a discussion on Marco Polo's travels because it's all there. And I think that's something we will do. We
Yep.
will go into his travels. We'll discuss the cities because it's it's there in plain sight what we've been discussing for ages.
Yeah.
So his manuscripts, a a a map, very well known. What do you call the map? A cardiol? No, not
Cartography.
when people cartography. Yeah, who did maps in the 15th century or 16th century, and he was so respected at the time, and his name was Testa. He was so respected at that
Tester.
time that he wrote a very thick an atlas book, a book of atlas about every country and every continent that he had mapped out. And I spoke to you about this because we're going to get into this at some stage too. Because since I've last spoken to you, it's just been amazing where I've gone. He had, I think, literally a third of his Atlas map book was talking about Java, Grand Java, Minor Java, and Petite Java.
Petite. Mm.
And Marco Polo talks about Java, Major Java, Petite Java. And I've had someone reach out to me from Papua New Guinea, which is an area that's always niggled me and no one has ever looked into. Lovely, lovely man. And I'm sorry if I don't remember your name. I can't pronounce your name. It starts with a G, and I'm really, really sorry. But he'll know who he is. He's been trying to tell people for a long time about Java. and Grand Java, because that's what Australia was called once upon a time.
Grand
And it was
Java.
also Grand Java, Major Java, Petite Java.
Interesting.
And this man wrote about it all also in his book of all the maps and all the continents in very deep, like descriptions of the areas. And he was then, like Marco Polo, was poo-pooed, literally. I mean, Marco Polo was respected grandly by, as an explorer of his times. And even in China, they have monuments and statues for Marco Polo. And his world travel book, journal, is amazing. And it backs up what this map man, I'm just going to call him a map man.
Yeah, what was his name again?
Tester.
Tester.
Hang on.
S-T-E.
S-T-A.
S-T-A. Tester, not Tesla. Tester.
And he was respected for centuries until now. It's just all because, he's trying, because they won't accept, or they don't want you to know how big and literally what Australia was back then.
This is the thing. I've been looking for the name of Australia for a long, because it wasn't called Australia, right? Like, that just changed in the 1600s to Terra Australis, but clearly that it was known. We know, right? The Egyptians were here, the Chinese were here, for a long time.
Spanish,
Portuguese,
the French had such a big play. I mean, we've been played so much, Campbell. It's not funny. This whole French and English and bloody Spanish bullshit. They were all in cahoots. The Dutch, they were all, did you know that there was a French East Indies?
French? No.
French.
Okay.
Yes. And my mother even talked to me about it. So, I've found that out since then. And Genghis Khan in the 13th century was even talking about Major Java. He wanted to go to Major Java.
Interesting.
But it's too far. And then there's another thing that I found where the French were having discussions with Khan about Java. So we've been had. Anyway, that's another series. That's another story.
That's another video. Yep.
We're going back to Australia, because since I last spoke to you, I've had oh my God, it's going to blow your mind, Campbell. The things that has been shared with me. Anyway. So this whole journey of textiles has brought me literally full circle back to Australia, would you believe? And the conclusion of textiles and where all these textiles came from, yes, has brought me back to Australia. So isn't it amazing, where you get guided to and who reaches out to you at the right time, and what you see, because I wasn't seeing things at one particular point because it wasn't my point of interest at that moment. So I digress. So we've got Marco Polo to discuss. We've got Tester to discuss. And we even can go back to the Orelinda.
Nice. Okay.
We can even go back to the Orelinda, because she discusses the fact that many, many families and many of because they were all seafarers at that time, the men all went out, like she discusses constantly the men leaving for umpteen amounts of months, voyaging around to different places. But back then, like, this is supposed to be 1,300 years after the Great Flood, because she talks about that. And she says that she talks very matter-of-factly regarding India and how many of the families of Friesland and many of Europeans
Friesland, did you say?
Yes, Friesland.
Okay, nice.
Because she lived in Friesland.
Okay.
That's where it originated.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
So, which is Dutch heritage as well. So
it started off as an island, right? And then it sort of somehow moved to the mainland in Holland.
Somehow moved. So that she talks quite, like matter-of-factly about the families that live in India. and how there's areas, and I have to go back and find it, but she talks about areas that were named after these families in India. You know, they're Frisian names. And, you know,
Yeah, it's interesting because India's got like a double population, right? There's two different groups of Indians, clearly. There's the dark skinned and there's the lighter skin, and they're clearly got different heritage.
Campbell, the amount of what's happened to us as skin colouring, not even in a culture, is disgusting. And I will go into that because it all goes back to Australia. But yeah, the Oralinda is also something that I read and go back to. So I'm not just going narrative. I'm going, you know, into these journals, into these manuscripts. Like I said to you, I mean, I know what you do too. You got a niggle and you think, okay, I'll just leave that and just go back to it because I know that these dots are going to connect sometime in the future. How, I don't know, but they
Yeah.
connect.
Yeah.
So
It's all reference points, right?
exactly. And there was another book that was written that I found also. Now, where is that? I'll
Just for
come
everyone
to it.
watching, the Oralinda book is an old, well, Frisian book, right? It's an old book. They obviously try and say that it's fake and it's a rewrite and all this stuff,
Another one.
but they talk about the Magyar in there, right? And the
Yes.
or Magi, and then Magyar is the language of
Hungary.
Romania. No, is
No,
Romania?
Hungary. It's
No,
the
Hungary.
old
Sorry,
Hungarian
Hungary. And it's like
language.
different from all the languages of Europe around it, right? It's like this separate dialect. Yeah.
Yep. And she also talks about the matriarch, how the women were very much, you
Yeah.
know, very much the
Matriarchal
deciders.
society. Yeah.
Yeah, because the men, you know, they all respected each other. The men travelled, the women were you know, and they would have women underneath them that would learn the matriarchic system, how to make decisions for their tribes, their villages. It's so interesting. But yeah, she talks a lot about India and about Silk Road and those areas. So right back then, and this manuscript was found in Amsterdam in 1845 in the original, one of the original homes of this family. So the manuscript is literally based by the matriarch system back then that said that all the stories of the family must continue in writing. So and historical events and historical things that were happening around them at that time. So it's a record from this family from that time period up to the 19th century.
Yeah. And they used to write all the stories on the walls of the cathedrals and things, didn't they?
Yep, they
So
did.
everyone could see them. It was like, yeah, nothing hidden.
So anyway, I'm like with you. I mean, I've got to a point where the umbrella of Tartaria has been something that I don't mention anymore. I just say the old world. And the reason for that
Yeah,
is that so many people are getting on that bandwagon. There's so much AI out there. It's getting, you
the
know,
AI
totally great
channels
as far as I'm concerned.
do my head in. There's so many of them, and they just get promoted straight up. It's all AI.
Yes.
It,
Yep.
it's it's the stuff we were talking about 3-4 years ago, but like just simplified, right? And
Yes.
you know, it's the 80-20 rule, right? 80% truth and 20% lead you down the garden path, basically.
Exactly. And yet it has so much. There's just so much to the story that, you know, I was actually, when I was doing my research into where this cloth came from and manufacturing and everything, I was actually really surprised with how I reacted when I thought, oh, hang on a minute, Silk Road, Asia, India, you know, the Arabian, the Persia, it's all Tartar area, you know.
Mm,
Genghis Khan. I mean,
yep.
the Mongolians. And the Magyars were there too.
Yeah.
And the there's so many cultures that, you know, that come up, and you think, oh yeah, you know, I don't really listen to cultures and names very much, so I thought I've gone full circle. I'm back in Tartaria,
Yeah.
and you know, that word's just being so mudded at the moment. It's just something I don't want to be related with, to tell you the truth. But the facts are a fact. And since I've been doing this, which I'll read a lot about too in another part, was Jordan Nuttall. Do you know Jordan Nuttall, Charles Rossi's friend?
Oh, he's Charles's
You're a
friend.
friend.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll know Jordan. Jordan started
Sounds
a few
familiar.
years. Yeah, Jordan started a few years ago. He was 23 years old. He's very interested in architecture and everything. And, you know, him and I have been conversing for a while. And then I sort of just lost, I wasn't getting any of his posts and that anymore. And we weren't really talking much anymore because he's just gone, he's got his head in the books in the museum, the British Museum and other museums. He's just going full on. I came across some of his work the other day, which is what I mean when dots come together. Now that my mind is in China and the Silk Road, that's where, I mean, his whole thing is Tartaria. And what he's found in these old books, oh my God, like books from the 17th century, 18th century, all talking about Tartaria in Europe, Tartaria everywhere. And I mean, it's written, it's there. You can't deny it.
There's
So
maps, man, that show it was from Russia right across at least into, halfway into Europe, right? All Eastern Europe down to India, all of China. And then it just
everywhere.
starts retracting, getting smaller and smaller, and then just disappears.
It was in Africa, Ethiopia,
Yeah, I've seen maps of it in
Australia,
America. So it's,
Papua New
I know a lot of
Guinea.
people get triggered by the word and they're like, well, it
They
wasn't
do.
everywhere. It wasn't everywhere.
It
But
was.
it kind of was. If you look into the maps properly, it actually at one stage it looks like it was realm wide pretty much.
Well, I want to know what was here before Tartaria, and we'll go into that too another time because I think we found it. So I think we've got another series, Campbell. There's just too much to cover. You know what I'm like in research. I just don't skim over the top. I need to look at from different angles, and I need the confirmation that I'm on the right track, because if I don't get the confirmation from different sources, then I then have to question where my information is coming from. And because a lot of my information comes by inner guidance, I have to get confirmation from where that's what that is and what that looks like.
Mm.
So we've gone back full circle to Tartaria, which was quite a shock for me, I can tell you. Which a lot of people think, why? That's what you're here for. That's why you started. And I think, yes, but like I like to separate myself from that name because it's been bastardized by
Yeah.
so many. And your
Yeah.
trills out there, they're saying it's a psyop, it's this, it's that. Well, when people believe those sort of people, then I'm being questioned, you're being questioned, we're all being questioned, even though our research and what we're talking about comes from the heart and from an inner guidance. It doesn't come from,
Books from the
alternative
university,
narrative.
from the system, and all this kind of crap. Yeah, I mean that's why I
Exactly.
started using Old World as well a couple of years ago.
Yes.
But I mean, the more you look into it, the more it pops up and pops up. So
Yep. It's definitely there.
yeah.
So I'm going to get started and I will show you. This is how my research goes.
All
So
right.
here I'm thinking, okay, I believe, and it's not just a one-dimensional factor of where all this cloth, clothing, product comes from, because it's not just textiles. As you'll see soon, it's everything we use today. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I then think,
Yeah.
I don't want a one-dimensional look at this. I want 2-3-dimensional look at this, and I want whatever guides me to guide me. So here I am going into a vintage store, which I've never been into before. I go past it, God knows how many times. And lo and behold, at the back of this vintage store, there's this huge area, Campbell, of books and magazines and books that date back to the 16th century and our old history, and it's old Britannicas, and it's just like, oh my God, I've hit the jackpot. So here I am sneakily with my phone, because some of these books really interested me, taking photos. I took a photo of Edward I and his wife, Elizabeth, I think it was then, and of their coronation times and of the 1900s and the travelling of the
Now,
British Empire. Hey?
Edward the First, that was Elizabeth's brother, was it? The one who
I think,
abdicated,
yeah,
married an
I don't go into
American
all.
lady or something, and never became king.
Yes, I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
so.
yeah.
Yes. So it all talks about the British Empire and where the British Empire ended up. So it talks about, it shows pictures about the everything they conquered, literally.
Well,
And
empire is an interesting word, right? Pyre
it
means
is,
death fire.
yes, absolutely. So I've looked through this book, taking photos, bang, 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 and then I come across a photo of the last hidden city. I think
Yes.
it's up in Tibet or in India. I think it's India, called Lhasa,
Tibet, I
Lhasa.
think it was.
And
Yes.
the picture literally says the last world, the hidden cities, one of the last hidden cities being shown.
Yeah. Picturesque and wonderful Lhasa. Yeah. The last of the world's mysterious cities unveiled. Taken by a member of the Tibetan expedition, which forced its way to the capital of Tibet. So I think it was Tibet, but this is
Yeah.
it. I mean, look at this thing.
Look
Like,
at it.
look at that. That, and I mean, look at it's up on a hill. Just constructing that is ridiculous. I mean, the height of these front walls,
Yep.
like ridiculous. Like, look at it. Just down the bottom here is a massive city, and look how much bigger up here is.
And that's one, and Marco Polo went there, Campbell. Now, this is very interesting because I thought, okay, if that city is so, Marco Polo would have gone there for sure, and he did. Now, his description of this area was that it was ancient and very run down.
Yeah, I was just
This
going
was
to
in,
say, there's this bit down here that looks a bit smashed, and the
yes.
wall here, I think there's something going on there. So yeah, it looks like it's old at this point.
So this is Marco Polo 1245, around that time. So 13th century Marco Polo's doing his travellings, and he's also already saying that this is run down. He said at that time it had nothing really to offer. It was a huge city, but compared to the other cities that he'd been to in the area, China and everything, this one, as magnificent as it once was, didn't offer very much, and it was full of people that weren't really very productive, which I found very interesting for such a huge city.
Mm.
When was this actually built then, Campbell?
Wow. I mean, clearly, well, hundreds of years minimum before the 1200s, right? Which,
Yes.
which would put it right in the Dark Ages, right? Time that never happened.
Yeah. So,
India under the
and
first
then,
king emperor. That's crazy.
my question is, what happened? What happened between the 13th century when Marco Polo went there and he wasn't really impressed with the city? And look at it. If he wasn't impressed with that, Campbell, what did the cities that he was going to that he writes about
look
like?
Yes, totally, man.
If that's an example of a city that didn't really impress him very much, what was going on back then?
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling. And that's the 13th century. So that's been there well before Marco Polo went there. So who built it?
Yes.
Who built the other cities?
And how, right?
And
So
how?
is this the same city?
It's still, you can go there. You
so,
can go there.
So this is it today, right?
Yeah.
That's it today.
Hopefully.
So it's still there, man. I've never seen it before. How's that not come up in the research? Like, that's a crazy place.
There's a lot of things that I'm getting guided to that has never come up in research, Campbell.
Mm.
So now get this. So Marco Polo went there and wasn't very impressed. How can you not be impressed by that? Now we go further on. You cannot go there unless without special permission, if you want to read this.
Lhasa, the capital of Tibet Autonomous Region in China, is a profound cultural and spiritual center situated 3,656 meters above ground in the Himalayas, known as the Place of the Gods. It features iconic sites like the Patala Palace and the Jokang Temple. It is a high-altitude city that blends traditional Tibetan life with modern urban developments, experiencing its peak tourism season during the warmer months. So, I mean, it's interesting because Tibet is, I mean, it's basically a third world country today, right? I mean, it's just sort of this, it's
Yes.
got this spiritual kind of name, but it's pretty inaccessible, right? And it's up in the mountains. I mean, so that's the next question: is
How?
how did they build it up there? Yes,
We know nothing, Campbell.
no, Patala Palace. So there you go, guys. If you want to search this up, Patala Palace, Jokang Temple.
And look
Uh,
who was in the Patara Palace.
the spiritual heart of Tibet, surrounded by the bustling Barkor Street pilgrimage circuit. And so I guess that's the other thing, right? The people that go there are all on this spiritual journey. So they're
Well,
not
Demi Lama.
necessarily looking at the
No,
cities and the architecture and wondering about it. They just like,
no. How do
we're
they
here
not
in
go
this.
there and wonder that?
I know.
And the what is it, Dalai Lama?
Lama.
He
Yeah.
lived in that Patara Palace.
I mean, look at these walls. Like how? And how did they get all the
Yeah,
materials up there? This is on the top of a mountain. Like Tibet is literally on the top of it's up in the
a
Himalayas,
mountain.
right?
Yes, and it's by the Buddhist monks now. So have a read of that one.
The term Forbidden City became associated with Lhasa because foreign visitors, explorers, and traders were strictly prohibited from entering the city. This policy of isolation was maintained to preserve Tibet's unique culture. Of course, it was Buddhist traditions and political independence. And of course, there's a forbidden city in China as
Yes,
well.
yes, yes. But how many more forbidden cities were there?
Exactly. And why are they forbidden? It's like to
Ex-
preserve, the spiritual, blah, blah. But really, it's probably just to keep people out to make it really hard to get there so that we don't get there and look at it and go, how the hell did they build this?
exactly. And now, like I said, if you want to go there, you have to have written, like when you book to go there, you need to have permission from the Buddhist monks to be allowed to go. Now, Marco Polo never, ever, ever, ever mentions Buddhist monks when he was there. He mentions people that weren't really very friendly, and he really didn't favour them much.
Yeah.
So how do we go from the 13th century visual
Wow.
of the area to now a Buddhist spiritual place of the gods that is forbidden?
I mean, that religion, right? They love to use religion to hide the old world. Look what they've done with Christianity, right? I know we build all of these cathedrals to worship God in, and the same with, is Islam and all of their different temples and Mecca and all these
Yep,
places.
yep.
And it also just what it does is it only attracts those people on pilgrimages, right? Who aren't going to ask questions and they just see it all about God and all this kind of stuff.
It was a way to get rid of the organic human. That's all it was. The Wicca people, the pagans, what's the one with the D? I can't remember the name. But anyway, they're all people, spiritual people of the land. You know
Mm. And the
that it
Fae,
was, yeah,
yeah, all those people are
to
druids.
get rid of them. The Druids. It was
Yeah,
to get rid of them
yeah,
and put a different task, because I mean a different name on it all, to just, yeah, like
yeah.
you said,
And
get
even
rid of
that,
it.
like even druid and all that kind of stuff, people who sort of look into it now, it's become a religion as well, right? It's
Yeah,
all about their spiritual practices and all this, and it's all airy fairy up in the air. There's nothing practical about it,
it's
and that's how they kind
exactly.
of get rid of this stuff. It's like, oh well, they built Stonehenge. We don't know why, but it was spiritual, so don't ask any questions.
Or it's a temple for bodies. No, it's not. They're all energy sources. Everything's an energy source.
Yeah, well, I mean,
All
a
we got.
massive, slab of bloody sandstone or whatever, certain types of rocks, they're like tuning forks, man.
Exactly. And we talked about the stones, remember? The precious gems,
Yep.
that they ate them for healing. So we've lost so much in the organic side of ourselves by all the Ra legions and the warship people and everything
The
that came in
L.
and totally destroyed everything
Yeah, man, the
because
L and
we
their
were organic.
psycho god. Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's exactly what's happening at the moment, right? It's taking us away still from the organic. Here's
yeah,
AI, here's your internet. Like, just get connected into the system. 15-minute smart cities. You don't need the earth.
exactly. Yeah, you don't. Well, look out, just rely on us.
Rely
No,
on
rely
us.
on
We'll
yourself.
give you the answers.
So I don't know what goes on in this world. I mean, really, I'm not interested. I'm interested in what goes on within myself and what I see and what I feel, and
Well,
what nature's doing at the moment. And this research just it
mm,
keeps me away from all that shit. I'm
yeah,
not
well, that's the
interested.
main thing they've done. That's why they sent us to school for 12 years, right? To train us to look outside of ourselves for the answer.
Yes,
Ask the
yeah,
teacher what the answer is, then,
and
ask your boss, then ask the politician,
yeah,
ask
nanny,
the
nanny, nanny, nanny,
experts.
nanny.
Trust
It's
the
all about
science, guys.
it's all nanny, 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 isn't it? Hold
Yeah.
my hand. I'll show you what to do. No, piss off.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
interested.
Just here. It's not really a cliff. Just keep walking.
Yes. So I've come to the stage. Is that the illusion of empires and enemies is the illusion of that time. It's all illusion, because
Oh,
I think
victim
originally,
tyrant, right? Victim
yes,
tyrant mentality.
yep,
Mm.
yep. It's all about, they're all distractions to erase a once large, productive system, a universe of cultures that I think were one, Campbell. I think even before Tartaria was just another in
Iteration, if you want to use that
yeah
word. Yeah.
of taking
Evolution.
over
Yeah.
an already established system there, an established buildings, everything. It's just repeat, 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 repeat. And I think the original of who we were back then, being the creator, I think I've found, but we'll go into that another time. it's
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I
it's
mean,
been
there's so much talk about giants and giant this and giant that. And,
yeah
we've definitely got, evidence and photos of, 8, 9, 10 footers. But I mean, giant doesn't necessarily mean physical size, right? We were
no
giant intellectually. We were giant in
exactly.
our knowledge. And yeah.
Spot on. Spot
Mm.
on. So I wrote this about when I was doing this. So the illusion of empires and enemies, distraction and erase of the once largest and productive universal cultures ever, um, with ancestral stories and connections to unify and create and be celestial beings, earth beings that we
Mm.
were, who were all unique, connected, closely connected, telepathically, and we didn't need distance
Well, I
because you could
mean,
see that in
this
all
is the
our
thing
buildings.
about tech, right? When you look at all the tech that they give us, it's going to make our life so much better.
Yep,
It's all that's the simulation, right? It's all a copy
everything.
of our innate abilities anyway, right? We used to be able to
Yep,
just talk with our minds. Now we need a telephone, right? We
yep,
used, so it's the same thing. They just invert, yeah, a good name for a video would be from culture to cult, right? Because
yes,
a culture is something that grows. A
yes.
cult is the closed circuit where you get told what to do and you have to go
Do.
through stupid initiations and rituals.
I love it. I love it, Campbell. So not only were we connected on a telepathic spiritual level, but our lands were connected, our cities were enormous and grand. There was no discrimination of skin colour, hair colour, or eye colour. We were of all.
Mm.
I feel our size of being was also accepted and never questioned. We all had unique gifts that were created to enhance the well-being of wealth, our health,
Yeah.
the understanding throughout all of the elements and creating visual functions for those elements. The early structures, standing stones, and designs of those stones still used to this day, and in everything our masonry, textiles, tombs, artifacts, symbolisms, glassworks, harmonics, organs, bells, and human voice. It was all one, all one. And I think it
Harmony,
came before
harmonious. Yes.
it all came before the Tartaria. Tartaria is
I,
where again, our mind goes because that's as far as we can go. But, you know, America has so much more too. And I know Charles talks about the Moors. That's another one. It's something I don't put my energy into, but I do see the connections. But there were for me, there was variations of the Moors, and they also have they need to answer for themselves too.
Well,
So
totally. But I mean, it's pretty clear that at least when, if he ever got there, you know, Christopher Columbus, but Christophe
no,
Colomb, the
that's well, the
1400s,
Colon.
whatever, when they got there, it wasn't a thriving society, right? Like whatever was there previously had broken down. Sure, there was probably remnants of that society still there, but it wasn't a full functioning, technological society.
Well, you know, there's civilizations underneath that will say differently, Campbell. So I've
Civilization
come to the
underneath.
conclusion that we are nothing but replicators now. We replicate everything. I mean, India
Oh,
and
yes.
Asia, cloning, replicators, you know,
Yes.
Italy. I think the places I've been looking at, the Silk Road definitely, that is the beginning of everything as far as I'm concerned. That whole Asian area, whatever that was before, and a lot, when you look at the early maps, didn't have a Chinese names. They had European type names. So this is what I mean, that we've come, it's a celestial start that we've had. And slowly but surely that's been deteriorated to, you know, I think the closest to that was maybe the Tartarian times. And then it's just deteriorated and deteriorated after that. So everything's
Yeah.
about cloning. So the places of interest for me was India, Asia, the Arabian lands, Italy, Milan, Constantinople, Persia was of the Arab lands, Mesopotamia, Alexander. I mean,
Yeah.
Alexander, my God,
Alexandria. Yeah.
so the library, like we still have, Alexander has still the largest library in the world. We have library upon library in these huge buildings that has millions and millions of books. So Alexandra and Alexander the
But
Great. I mean, they're all stories that we really need to, I think, connect a lot of what we're looking at here with the
yeah,
textile.
I mean, they've done a very good job with their, cultures that they've introduced and all their lineages, and people get so, they buy their story so much. And my ancestors did this and they did that, and they can't question the narrative. As soon as you
No.
say something different, they get so triggered. It's like, oh
Yes.
my God, but my great 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 grandfather did this, and it's like, prove it. You don't know,
Prove it.
like you don't know that. And like you keep saying, like in the end, we're one people. All that's
We're
doing is causing division.
always. The division is unbelievable, and it's
Mm.
all done by the infiltrators. It's all done. They use everything. We know that. So that's the point I've got to, and I think even our maps, Campbell. This is why our maps are so contradiction. There's so many contradictions in our maps. Why they poo-poo again some of these really early maps that show so much detail, because I believe again they've been replicated. The
Yes.
original maps of ours have been replicated over and over and over again. These explorers, a lot of them later on, never ever, they just replicated, removed like they do with our buildings. They renovate, they destroy and rebuild something
Yeah.
so that we don't see the story.
Yeah. They translate and censor them, right?
Yep. So
And
our
they
life,
kind of tell us that, a lot of the maps they say, oh, they were made from earlier source maps, but but then they're like, oh, well, these things weren't really there. They just made it up and blah, blah, blah. And in the
yep.
end, we don't even know when these maps are from. Like all we know is the date that someone's put on there at some point,
That's
you know?
exactly right. And that's what I've found too, that we can only, I think any of this research has to be done from an internal guidance. It really does, because I get confirmation after confirmation. I actually do intentions before I go to sleep, and I ask for guidance, and I always get confirmation. Like that book, I went past that vintage store, I don't know how many times, never had the time to go in there, and I finally was compelled. I'm always compelled, right? like almost like I get pushed through a door and
Mm.
said, right, Paula, get in there and stop ignoring the fact that we're trying to confirm something for you of what you're doing. And that's what my research is based on. And I
Well,
think
I was just going
I
to
don't
say we
replicate.
have to stop researching. We got to start
Yeah,
searching.
exactly. Inner
Researching is
searching.
just going over the information they want us to, that someone's put together for us. So
That's yeah,
searching, no more of that re stuff.
yes. And then we replicate. We research and we replicate and
Yeah,
replicate and replicate. This
which
whole
is
cloning.
which
I
is
don't know.
AI, right? Cloning, but that's what AI does, right? All
Yep.
it can do is take what men and women have created and then
Yep.
recreate
Originally.
it, replicate it, mix it up and change it around, but it can't come up with anything of its own, anything new.
No, so replication from the original earthlings that we are, because I think we're still here. And I think this whole time period is to even, click us out of our sleep, because I know I can feel there's a change again in the atmosphere,
Yeah,
in
just
the energy.
recently, like the
Just
last,
recently,
yeah, I
like
agree. The last month, especially few
oh
weeks, it's
yeah,
suddenly gone. We're up on the parabolic curve, right?
I agree, because I can feel it, and I can feel, even looking at what's being shared at the moment, that some people are going to a whole different level again. And I can feel it myself, because the information that's coming into me is just, it gets me to a point where I look like I'm having a panic attack, but I'm not. I'm just so intense with what's happening. It's just, I've got to take a breather, because and then whatever I've noticed since we've been doing this, Campbell, that, and even I haven't even discussed my research on the Silk Road or anything. I'm finding that people are also going down the same all of a sudden, and it's
Yeah,
like,
yes, I've
have we
noticed
had a
that too.
collective
Yeah,
upload all of a sudden, and certain people have connected to that upload, and now bang, 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 we're now the ones that need to receive it are receiving it and sharing it, because that's why we're here.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I noticed that when I was, when I was young, that when ideas come, like I noticed it on inventions, right? When something's invented, it's never one person,
No,
right? It's always like you get all these variations, like computers, right? Perfect example, right? You get Apple, you get Windows, not that they created them, but you get these. So it's one download, and whoever's ready for it will take it, then they'll turn it into their version of that. And so we
yep.
get multiples of things. But of course, the system, tries to stop that, obviously gets all the info, takes it out, and then just tries to replicate.
Replicate. That's
Yeah.
that's where we are. I don't even think we're in resets or anything like that. We're just in a replication world that's just replicating from the original of the earthlings that we were, the majestics, like I keep saying, the majesties, the crown of the creator.
Mm.
And it's all, and others have just recreated and recreated. Something happened to us, and it's very hard to get to the bottom of it, because we have these the different maps. That's why I couldn't get my head around a lot of it, because I had to get used to Persia, and what is in Persia now, and what is, where's these areas in the Silk Road, and I still haven't got my head around a lot of it. So it was very hard for me to even articulate what I want to say in regards to, I believe everything, and I mean everything, has come from this part of the world. And it's been replicated. And you can see it even when you look at the textiles is a perfect example of it, because we go into the silk. Well, I've found out since doing this research, which we'll go into, there was many places around Armenia, which
Yeah.
Armenia has been
Armenia.
bombed and destroyed, because it's of the old world, Campbell. We had silk manufacturing in the area. And Marco Polo talks about the cities of Armenia and the castles. And he talks about the castles of the areas of the Silk Road. He talks about the castles in all of, these large cities that he goes into in India and Tibet, and in Persia, like I said, in the Mediterranean, the Caspian Sea area. there's a lot of proof there. And I've even found proof of in the southern part of France, because I was looking at Milan, and Milan, apparently with this video that got me going in this in the first place, which we'll share in that collection, Milan, apparently in the 19th century, there was a discovery of tunnels under the city. And some of the tunnels that were opened up, they found eons of fabric, Campbell.
Ah, interesting.
Now, if you think of,
Nice. Because you know what's in
so
those
what,
tunnels now is bones.
they found in some of these tunnels like shelving and shelving upon shelving of fabric. Now, if you think about it, Milan had a huge war at one stage. Milan doesn't really offer anything when you look at it, because it's not near the ocean, doesn't have a port, doesn't really have anything to offer. It's a beautiful city. I've looked at old photos of Milan and old prints of the 17th century of Milan. It was magnificent, but it had a massive war there in the Renaissance period. For what?
How to wipe out
There
the
was
old
textiles.
civilization. The
There
textiles,
was
yeah, right.
textiles.
And I
There
mean,
was
that'd be the
textiles
perfect place to
underground.
store them, right? In tunnels underground, because we talked about,
Correct.
where would you store them all? It needs to be climate control. You need to keep all the
Yes.
bugs and everything away. So it makes sense.
Underground.
Mm.
Underground. And then I also found, thanks to Jared Booster, who I just love on YouTube, when I was doing this is what I mean. Things just appear to me. I haven't watched Jared for bloody ages. And then all of a sudden I thought, oh, I wonder what sort of videos Jared's got. Like I'm getting pushed again, right? Lo and behold, he talks about a fort in southern France called, what is it called? Cassar. Cassar. We'll go into it. But quickly talking about it, because we're going to do a video about it. It was the biggest fort in Europe. It's over 6,000 years old. It has to do with Arago, one of the kings that Marco Polo talks about. And it was one of the most protected forts in Europe, yet it was closed down many times in its lifetime. It was renovated. It was opened up again. And then would you believe, I think it was the 12th century, it was reopened, or the 15th century. I don't know. We'll do a thing about it. For a factory, Campbell, the biggest wool and textile factory in Europe.
Interesting. All right. So
So
that's sort of going
we'll
back to
do
the
a
whole
video
guilds
about that.
kind of conversation.
Okay.
It's like the guilds, back to the
Yes.
guild conversation. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And the guilds keeps coming back in my mind all the time when you look at all these old cities and how they were fortified with, like they were like Constantinople, like the last hold of the Roman Empire, apparently, held all the silk at that time. They don't, because they wanted the money for it. But there was many, many places. What I found, it just wasn't coming from Asia. There was a lot of silk industry in parts of the world that you wouldn't even believe.
Yeah.
And then when you think about it, which makes sense to me now, they made out that silk was so, so precious and so this and so
Rare.
that, worth
Yeah.
so much money. And yet silk was used a lot. When you really look at silk as a fabric, you had silk velvet, you had silk satin, you had silk thread, you had silk lining. You had silk ruffles, you had silk buttons, you had lace made of silk, you had braiding made of silk, you had silk velvet ribbon, and you had silk cording, and you had silk shoes. So if it was so
Rare.
rare
Yeah.
and so hard to get, which I would understand if you were thinking it was just coming from the Silk Road from China, as we first thought, but no, there was many places. Marco Polo talks of many, many manufacturing places on his journey, many large cities that were dedicated for silk manufacturing or dedicated for rug manufacturing, like Persia was rugs. So
Yeah. Well, this is what they do. I mean, it creates lack, right?
yes,
Lack consciousness, which then means they can charge more for it.
yep,
At the same time, that means that really it's just them, right? The rich people that get access to it, and it's a high frequency stuff. We all get the crap and the DuPont plastic, BS. But
yep.
they always do this, like this narrative where, like, silk only came from China. There was only one Eiffel Tower. It's just from France. There was, these kind of
Scarcity,
narratives where
scarcity.
everything's just a one-off, right, from this place. But when you look into it, it was actually realm wide. It was everywhere.
It was everywhere, Campbell, and things that I've never even knew about. It's a minefield of knowledge. It
Mm.
really is. It's a minefield. We've just got to look at things in a different way. And that's what I'm finding too. I would never really be interested in China. All this whole area, it never interests me at all. Lebanon, Syria, but they're all places Croatia. They are so important to this story.
Croatia, man, that whole region, Bosnia, Serbia, it's
Oh,
it's covered in the old world, and they've just bombed the crap out of it. That was
yes,
all Yugoslavia, which they broke up because
yes,
it was
Budapest.
becoming too powerful, right? Because it was like this gateway,
Yep.
and they've just destroyed. But those countries are amazing.
Well, you just got to look at those countries, and the answers are all there. They really
Mm.
are. Um, so yes, it's been an eye opener for me, and it's also comes when I'm ready for it to come, and that's something that is very important. I mean, our eyes are still opening. Our not the
Oh,
third eye. I don't believe in the third eye, but this whole knowledge of soul and spirit. We're being guided, and when we're ready, that opens up more. And like I said to you, this frequency in the last month, it's opened us up again and opened it. But
mm.
it's for those that are not just ready, but I think we're here for this.
Yeah, I agree.
We're
And then
here
you've
for
got
this
to
moment.
you've got to be prepared to be wrong, to learn something
Absolutely.
new, right? You can't fill a full glass.
No,
It's, so
no.
many people grab onto things and they're like, I've got the truth. And you say something, they get triggered and they're like, how dare you? And it's like, well,
Yes,
if you want to stay in your box, have fun, but you can't
that's where
go
they're meant to
forward.
be, though.
If everything that you knew was right, you wouldn't be where you are questioning everything.
That's it. That's so
It's
perfect,
pretty
Campbell.
simple.
So perfect. But I think there's those of us who are meant to be here at this time. The time that we're meant to be here is because of absolute celestial growth for us. And some people say they're growing to their capacity, and then they'll come back the next time and they'll grow more and they'll grow more and they'll grow more. But
And it's a
that's why
ladder.
you can't argue with people like this, because they're not prepared. They're not at the frequency. And
No,
I had a
and
big
don't waste
talk.
your energy. It's not worth
No,
it, man.
no, I had a beautiful talk with Rachel Vaughan about this, and she hit it in the head. There are some that are at a frequency now where we can't relate to a
Yeah.
different frequency even, because we're not. It's not about going up. It's about leveling of different frequencies and being able to accept more knowledge
Being open
and more
to it.
knowledge.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So this whole narrative of NPCs and that, it's not helping anyone, guys.
It's
It's just
not.
your ego trying to say, I'm smarter and better than someone else. But guys, it's a
It's
ladder. It's a ladder. We're all on different rungs. If you want to keep being able to climb, you can't spend your time looking down on everyone else.
No, and that's the ego, and it's the ego that is our problem. And I think that the whole thing is it's a journey of authenticity, and that journey of authenticity is the gold. It literally is the gold. It means that we constantly are learning. We want to be our authentic self, whatever that means, whether it be in this meat suit or whether it means on a spiritual level, it's being authentic and to accept the fact when you're wrong. You're wrong. Oh, hang on. Yes, I did say that a year ago, and my beliefs have changed since then, and I agree, I'm not right.
And
I don't feel I'm right. It doesn't feel right anymore.
like being
So
wrong's great
it
because it
is.
means you're
We
learning
learn.
something and you're moving forward.
Yes.
If you can't ever be wrong, then you think you know everything right now. And if you know everything right now, well, why are you where you are? That's the question to go to the mirror and ask, right?
Yep. And that's why also too, like people are saying to me, my good friends Edwina and Mary and
Eddie,
Bruce
our
and
tour manager.
Eddie. I've been pushed at that Tartaria event because I'm a teacher. As much as I don't want to be, I'm someone who is sharing the knowledge. That's why I'm here, and I'm a vessel for that. And if that means I spend hours looking at things and I'm being, literally opened up to that knowledge, that benefits not just myself. That benefits everybody who listens on your channel,
Everyone who's
Campbell.
willing to listen, yeah.
It really does. And it comes from the heart and it comes from authenticity. I want to be the most authentic person I can be. And if that means I've got to learn hard lessons, I'm prepared to learn hard lessons. It doesn't matter.
Mm,
Nothing matters to me anymore but my true self. And that's my journey. And I'm happy to share that with other people. So
mm. I mean,
this journey,
authentic, that's an interesting word, right? Be the author of your own story, right? Centric,
yes, that's the biggest lesson we
going
can
around
learn,
yourself.
Campbell, is to be
Yeah.
authentic, your true authentic self,
And this is the
whatever
thing,
that
right?
may be.
The best
Yep.
teachers, just like the best leaders, are the ones who don't necessarily want to be that, right?
Yep. And it comes from the heart. Everything I say, everything that our energy exchange, because the beautiful part of this is not just being able to help and grow ourselves, but it's the exchange of the energy that you and I have, Campbell, which is so important. Because if I can't relate my research to you, or you can't relate to me, there's no energy exchange, which means it gets shut down. The walls, the gatekeepers come up. And I'm not a gatekeeper. I never wanted. I'm not interested. Can't stand gatekeepers. So we are here for everyone's journey, not just ourselves, which I think is just a beautiful part of who we are.
Mm.
So
I mean, and it's a
this
good point
journey,
too. If people are saying things to you and offering information and you're sitting there going, no, no, look at this, you're a gatekeeper. You're trying to
yeah,
stop people thinking and going on their own journey, which
absolutely.
the problem with that is all these people who do that, if you tell them the same thing, they'll lose their shit at you.
Yes.
They just want to, they want to treat others, as they want to treat them, and they don't want to be treated that way, right? It's, yeah, they are, yes. They're very annoying, those people.
But do you find that the attraction or the energy, and I'm not even going to call it energy, frequency, that people are getting drawn to you and you can have a quick conversation about anything like this almost
Yeah,
immediately because they're on the same frequency?
I don't
And
even meet people who aren't on my frequency anymore. I
yeah,
literally don't even run into them. I never have. Everyone I meet is on my level, and I've got something to learn off
of
everyone, right?
understanding.
Yeah,
Yep.
you can talk to them all, and yeah, I literally don't even run into those people anymore.
And you don't get drained. Do you realise
Don't
that?
get no, don't get drained.
Like,
Don't have to sit there going, oh my god, stop
yeah,
talking at me.
yes, exactly. And like the exchange you and I have, I'm energized by the time we finish. I don't know about you, but I mean, I can drain people because it's just so intense what comes out of me. But I find the people that are really, really interested and really, really, really want to know, their energy is lifted as well, which is another part of our importance of who we are at
Mm,
this time.
yeah, totally. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
we've gone off track again, Campbell.
You have. What were we talking about?
Okay,
Where are we
can
back
we?
to?
I know. I love like the spontaneity. Here we go.
Spontaneity.
The spontaneity of conversations because nothing's rehearsed. I try and be as rehearsed as possible, but it just doesn't work.
Doesn't work for me. I don't know how to rehearse.
So, okay,
Rehearse. Gosh, that's a funny word. Isn't a hearse what they take you to a grave in?
yeah, to rehearse exactly. It's like
Mm.
remember. It's like
Mhm.
research. Everything's
Yeah, yeah. Everything
re.
with a re. Yeah, to do again. We don't want to do things over and over, right?
No, and rehearsing is about that too. It's about going over things so you can memorize it.
Mm.
Exactly. So the wording is just, we've talked about
Spells.
that. It's just
Spells.
crazy. So I think we won't go into everything else, but I think it's very important. This is another part of my synchronicity life, Campbell. So not only did I find this book with these pictures in it, and there's more in there, um, I also haven't. Also have been people, wonderful people have connected with me who have information that I need for my research at the moment and where I'm at. Then my sister and brother-in-law went on a trip to Mount Gambier and where is it? Oh my God, I've gone blank. Anyway, 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, Warrnambool, and they came back and they had all these photos. Now they went to a little town along the coast to South Australia. They went into a Vietnamese shop to order some takeaway, and lo and behold, behind on the window entering this little restaurant, there's a huge map, Campbell, of Asia's population in 1841. Now, who the hell would think that you would find something like this in a Vietnamese restaurant that my brother-in-law and sister came across 3 years ago on their travels to South Australia? They found a lot more.
The weirdest places, right?
Well, yes, they found a whole lot of stories about the Hoo Hoo Club, which is not, that's totally off track. But
the Hoo Hoo Club?
Yes, another
who
masonry culture.
Circa 1841, Asian map.
There's a whole big map.
Go to the big one.
Yep.
All right.
You'll love this.
Right. Russian Empire, Chinese Empire, India. I'm guessing we're going to be looking down here somewhere, are we?
No, you can look anywhere you like. The population numbers are there, Campbell. 1841. Have a look at the population. You'll see it if you go into...
So Sumatra, 2.5 million.
Yep.
Borneo, 300,000. India. What have we got? Is that 500,000 there?
I can't see it.
I think it's 500,000. Chinese Empire, 6 million. Russian Empire. So Siberia, 2.937 million. Russian Empire, 66 million. Some interesting numbers. 66, 6 million.
Isn't
interesting. Well, they like those numbers, don't they? The ones who are now the replicators, the repeaters.
Exactly. Yes.
Turkey, I think that's another 6 million. Afghanistan, Afghanistan, 5 million. So this is 1840s. What about down here? It's a bit hard to read. Unfortunately, there's no Australia.
No. This is just for China. There's
1.5 million.
That's Romania, is it? No.
Armenia, yeah.
Armenia, yeah.
And Georgia, which is basically, that's just like under Russia today. So sort of this area.
Georgia was
Tartary.
A very important place.
Tartary.
Yes.
Population, what's that? 8 million, maybe? Bit hard to read.
800-30.
Or is it 80 million? Yeah. Could be 80. But that's definitely 66 million in Russia, which is way, 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 way above what they tell us.
Exactly.
Because this is 1840.
I couldn't believe the population, Campbell.
I mean, at this time they tell us, all the populations were low. Somehow, the whole, because there is this story that half the world's population got wiped out. The Black Plague and all these other narratives and stories we have.
But if we had all these empire wars in this area that we were meant to have had, how's the population like this?
I mean, big, yeah. 3 million in Japan, the Japanese islands. And look at the size of Japan, by the way. That's a lot bigger than it is today.
Oh, Japan's a story in itself, Campbell.
Well, Japan used to be a lot, I mean, everything used to be a lot bigger, right? But Japan used to be this big continent. I'm wondering if Japan was Atlantis.
Yes.
Because it went under, man. Like most of it. That's why we've got like Yonaguni and, off the coast, sunken down. There's all these sunken,
Sunken
cities.
cities
Yeah,
everywhere, Campbell.
everywhere, right?
Sunken cities everywhere. And this is
Everywhere.
another thing why it's hard
And
for us to get any base point, because something else we'll go into later, which will add to this textile playlist, is that fashion, which something we've questioned from the start from Australia, shows us a little ice age.
yes. Well, I was just looking at this, right? This is the Arctic Circle. Siberia, which today we're told is a complete frozen wasteland, but there's almost 3 million people living there.
Yes.
Like
in 1841.
In 1841, that doesn't match, the narrative of this frozen wasteland, does it?
No, definitely not.
And here we have, what is it? Chinese Tartary. Chinese Empire, Chinese Tartary, 6 million. China down here, what's that? Oh, China, does that say 307 million?
Looks like it.
307,000,000. Wow, that's a lot.
That's a lot. This is what I mean. When something needs to come to you, it comes to you in the most, unbelievable ways. Like, who would think that was sitting in a Vietnamese restaurant?
Out in the middle of nowhere
Out in the middle
South
of nowhere,
Australia.
a tiny, tiny coastal town on the way to South Australia. Found by my sister and her husband. I mean, what are the odds, Campbell?
I know,
right?
That's
synchronicity at its finest.
Totally. I mean, there's even a boat up here way above the Arctic Circle, so that's clearly not a frozen wasteland, right? What's that?
Nope.
Northeast something? Just trying to read. Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to find this shop.
Yeah, I'll have to ask her where it is.
This map, yeah,
because the glare of the camera.
Yeah.
It's just fascinating. It'd just be
nice to have a high resolution, right? Down here, 1.427 million. What's that in Sri Lanka, which was called Ceylon? Bay of Bengal.
So when you
there. And that's full of sunken cities too, by the way, Bay of Bengal.
Yes.
Yeah, wow. So where's Papua New Guinea?
So
that Borneo, I guess is that it there?
No, that's Borneo. Papua New Guinea's over to the right more. So this is what they class as an Asian area. Of it. Yeah.
Because Papua New Guinea's like, well, at the moment, it's only half the island, isn't it? It's not. It's half Papua, and then it's what? Is it Borneo now that it's half with, or is it?
No, it's always just been Papua New Guinea. But I know I haven't even looked into it. But
no, the island is like split down the middle, and it's half Papua New Guinea and half. I can't remember at the moment. It'll come to me though.
But you've got the islands of Tonga and all that around there. I mean,
yeah.
There's a lot to talk about that area, I tell you. But when you see this map and you see the population, I don't believe, Campbell, for 1 minute now, we had an industrial revolution at all. I think what happened is that they just took over because we had quite a few famines, some of them were very deliberate. The catastrophes, weather catastrophes, that repurposed the factories or brought factories from India, China over, because that's something else we'll look at, and repurposed them and then said, we've got an industrial revolution in 1797. No, it was already there. Everything was already here.
Children, right?
Yeah. No, another fabricated story as far as I'm concerned. So that last map is a very interesting map, but
this Matteo Ricci.
Yes, you need to have a look at that map. We'll talk about that another time. But
all right.
That Asian population for 1841 really backs up the fact that there was no industrial revolution as far as I'm concerned. They were still doing what they do today. They mass produce, mass produce, mass produce. And it even is said even the silk isn't as good now as what it was, of course, back in the day. And there's different levels of silk, of quality of silk. So if China's always...
All the pictures of the kids in the factories, there's tons of them, right, running the factories. That makes no sense at all with the Industrial Revolution narrative.
Thank you.
What they created all these machines and all this industry, but no
Just
adult
like
could run them and work them. They had to use children. I mean, that's the dumbest thing ever, right? Clearly, they've taken them over off a previous, civilization. Yep. And they're like, we don't know how to run them. Let's just throw all their children in there and make them work. Yeah, I agree.
Labor.
And that's where they bring in the Dark Ages and the Renaissance, right? We were just stupid people living in the mud, and then suddenly we were all enlightened, and the Renaissance and everything came back, and the Industrial Revolution, and now here you are. You can, get your McDonald's and your cheap crap from China. In China, it's still the manufacturing hub of the world, right?
Nothing's changed, Campbell.
Yeah, exactly. It's just
India, Bangladesh.
Yeah.
All those
Taiwan.
areas.
Remember, everything used to be made in Taiwan. Remember that back in the 80s?
Nothing's changed. The thing is, the quality's changed. And
why the
quality's changed is because the British Empire took over, or whoever the invader is that took over those industries. They're the ones, because they could not recreate the way these civilizations created. So we've got that's why the answer is that's why quality and distribution, everything has changed.
Yeah.
But nothing has changed in the fact it was all here, but it was just taken over. And, you can't go, because like I said to you, I've done the Industrial Revolution for Australia, and you can't go from the late 18th century, where England was just absolutely bombarded with poverty. London had apparently over 2 million people in one area. You can't go from that to all of a sudden having these massive factories within not even 10 years, massive factories, people who are making all this stuff all of a sudden. It's just not possible. It's not common sense.
No.
The maths is not common sense.
No.
So it was just another friggin' label, like the Renaissance period, the Middle Ages. It's all so we can then, the programming goes into that, making us think a certain way and making us not go beyond that thought process, because that's what that looked like and that's what that looked like. No, it's not. There was never an industrial revolution.
Right? It's like, there's this one person, they were a genius and they invented half of everything that we know. It's like the architects. They built, one dude, he just built all the buildings. It's clearly stupidity, right? Like, this was already here. They're just creating people, inventing them, and then saying they invented everything to try and explain how we got everything, without telling us that they invaded and stole everything. And they're so mentally inept that they didn't even know how to run it. They didn't know how to get the right materials. And it's just degraded. And now we've got bloody IKEA, right? Even wood is false. As now we've got sawdust and glue in place of bloody wood.
Yeah, we're going back. We're going backwards to that primal time. We're going backwards. Doesn't matter how you look at it, we're going backwards.
Of course, man. Planned obsolescence.
So if you look at those mixed photos, Campbell, there's a thing saying mixed photos. We'll have a look at the Silk Road map.
Is that in the mixed photos?
Yeah, you can go through them. There's Chinese, old etchings of Chinese people. But what you don't realise either, which I tried to find photos for you, I think you've got it in your collection, is what China. Oh, here we go. This is another place.
Look at that, and that looks in pretty good nick, doesn't it?
Yes, that was drawn in the 1700s by a very well-known person, Louise Cassier. Who did a lot of etchings and drawings of places he went to again in the 1700s.
Pretty
I think there's an
cool.
explanation for that one. This is another one of his etchings. This is Syria. We've got no idea how big these structures were. No wonder we had so much room for textiles and for furniture and everything else, Campbell.
1783. What if
Okay,
the
can we
defeat of
read?
what if the defeat of Great Tartaria was recorded in official history under the names of the fall of Troy, fall of the Roman Empire, fall of Constantinople, dissolution of the Ottoman Empire, wars for American independence, collapse of the Qing dynasty, and downfall of the Russian Empire, defeat of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and World War One? Well, yes, yes, I would say, yeah,
Thank you,
yes.
Monica.
I think and even into World War Two, I think it's all part of the invasion. And of course, we've been questioning the American Civil Wars and all these photos of these destroyed cities, and they look exactly like Hiroshima, right? And
Yes.
Nagasaki from World War Two. Like it looks exactly the same. It's the same plan just put out. So yes, I would
So
call it the invasion, but yeah, that's what that is. I agree.
that's why we had so many wars at that time, Campbell, and that's why whatever was left over, they said was the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah. Them trying to get things back on track after they'd gone and
Yes,
sacked the cities, right?
yes. After they destroyed, like they literally starved India after they invaded India.
Yes.
They
Yeah,
took all their grain, they took everything.
they
So
did.
they literally caused a famine, and they've caused famines everywhere. And look at their
Yeah.
bombing and killing all this area.
Yep.
They're
Black,
still doing
obviously
it.
the Irish, they had the potato famine. There was famines everywhere. Like, I mean, look what they did to Africa. Like they literally destroyed it.
Yep,
Like it's everywhere.
yep.
And it's
All,
the same
all,
story. So there's the
and
Great Wall.
it's all been done to mix people, to mix the cultures. That's why we have different languages. It's all because, like I said, we're all one. This is all mixing up of the cultures, and I'll even go into that more because it is horrendous. So this
Yeah.
is off a map, and this is a little bit of China in the 16th century.
So nice city, but I'm just wondering what this guy's leaning on. What's this
Mm.
thing? Look at this front
Oh,
little round bit.
China had most amazing inventions, Campbell.
Yeah, he's got some, they look like Persian or rugs, right?
Textiles,
Or
yes,
textiles of some kind. They're doing a bit of
because we forget
trading.
about how much they wore.
Yeah, I mean, look at it. It's all nice textiles and buildings in the background. And this is
China,
China,
the
is it?
clothing.
What's this say? Honan. So, I mean,
Look how much clothing they're wearing,
and
Campbell.
look at the faces.
Yeah, they're not Chinese,
They're
are
not
they?
Chinese, man. No, look at this guy's face. That they are not what we are told Chinese are today at all. But yeah, look at that's a lot of clothing, man.
Yes.
Definitely traditional, what we're told, Chinese clothing. But
Yep.
that
But
dude
not
looks more
faces.
like a bloody cowboy from the cow, from America than a Chinaman, doesn't he?
This is exactly what they've done. They've removed cultures from different cultures, placed
Yeah,
them in somewhere else, and
yeah,
that's why we rename all these places, Campbell,
yeah.
because it just makes confusion. What's Persia? A lot of people don't know what Persia is anymore. You've got Levant, you've got
Well, Persia's Iraq, right? Or no,
yes,
Iran. Iran.
Iran. Yeah.
Iraq's Mesopotamia. Yeah, yeah.
And we'll talk about another place which will knock your socks off, which is in Syria,
Yep.
which is now called
Anti
Antakya in Turkey.
Anti all right. But I mean, they're doing this still at the moment, right?
They're
Like
changing names
blatantly
everywhere.
that they're shifting populations around again.
Yes,
And
yes.
that way that they break the storylines. No one's like, relates with their
Nope.
own country anymore, their own earth. It breaks all the stories, breaks all the knowledge, and keeps us in a
So
state of
what's going to,
confusion.
that's right. So what's going to happen to Australia? What's it going to be called in the next century? Are we going to
Wow.
have white people in Australia? Is it just going to be, okay, we had tribes of this coloured skin. They were called whatever they'll call those people because they're all coming over from where? From India, from a lot of
Middle
Muslims.
East, North
I don't know
Africa.
what.
Yeah.
Iran, places like that. So, and, Sudan. So what are we going to call this country in a century from now when we've lost our knowledge? Our children have lost their knowledge and not knowing who they are, and all of a sudden there was no white people in Australia.
No, that never
They were
happened.
just they were a dark tribe called blah, blah, blah. It just repetitive. We're constantly repeating.
Repeat, rinse and repeat. Yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah, I agree that they have they can't create anything, right?
Nope.
They just have to keep using their silly old narrative.
Yep.
Because they're stupid. And that's why we shouldn't be worried about, or scared of these people, because they are so clearly so dumb, like so inept at thinking and creating and all of this stuff.
They can only create when we create. That's why they're like it's a mind manipulation situation.
They just steal it and mix it around what we've created, which is what AI is doing. It's just getting what we've created and it's just turning it around.
Regurgitating, constant regurgitating
in a different form. That's all it can do. Can't think.
Nope.
So it's a tool, people. Stop asking it existential questions like, where did I come from?
Oh, ridiculous. So going on that silk trade, so, Armenia had vast cities surrounding it. And it was known as the Christ, the original Christ area. And it was full of castles and forts. Georgia, you'd think, oh, that's America. Well, it's not.
Well, it's a state in America, but yeah, it's also a country, right?
It's a country that was once named Georgia, and it was a huge manufacturing area. And it was also full of forts and castles. And we're talking, I think, around that Armenia area again. Now, how many times do you even hear about that country, Campbell? You never do.
Never. Hardly ever.
No, and it played a huge part in the past, huge, from the Silk Roads and everywhere. And for Marco Polo, huge part of it.
Yeah, well, it sits just under Russia, right? I'm sure it was bigger than it is now. It's only sort of small now. But yeah, you hardly hear about it. And it's interesting that in the West, we're trained and programmed to think that China and Russia are the enemy. Communists, oh my God, they're the enemy. And that's literally the heart of where all this stuff was, the old world, where everything came from.
Yes, that whole area. And that's why, like that map that I said to you earlier, you need to go and have a look at. We won't show it today. But literally that map was drawn by the Chinese, because they, at that time that was drawn, or whenever that was made, they believed they were the centre of this realm. It wasn't Europe. It wasn't anyone else. It was China, and that whole area was the centre. It was the multinational area of everything.
Yeah, of manufacturing and learning and all that kind of stuff.
Everything
went out of China. Yeah, I'd agree. And even if you look into the Chinese narrative, like a lot of books and that, they describe the emperors as like blue-eyed and red-haired and pale-skinned and all this, and there's even pictures you can find of different emperors. I'm trying to think of the name of them, but you'll find one that looks like a Caucasian, and then you'll find a later one, and suddenly it's a Chinese-looking person.
But you'll also find some of the original paintings also show the Asians as very dark-skinned, very, very dark-skinned. So that's what I mean. This skin business.
It's so much interbreeding, right? On purpose, right? Clearly on purpose they're doing this. There's a whole narrative of it. And, when you look around, that there's only one group of people who will not, intermarry with other religions or races or cultures, right? Those ones that wear the small little hats on their head that like to control everything. They won't, but they tell everyone else to. And that just, gets rid of the everything, right? It kills culture, it kills knowledge, it kills, the family, like the family, because families used to live together and kids wouldn't move out of home. They just make their their keep or whatever they were living in bigger, right? And it would be this evolution thing. But now,
Yes.
no, they want you to kick your kids out of home when they're 18 and get them to marry someone from another culture because that's much more acceptable, right? And less
And
racist than
well,
actually.
Australia is the perfect example. We had the white race policy in the
Yeah, yeah,
50s and
yeah. The white
60s,
Australia.
right?
Yep, yep.
No blacks, no one from dark skin. No, 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 no. And the Aboriginals, the originals of this land, were classed lower than animals, so they
Yeah,
could be executed whenever anyone felt the need to shoot them or murder them or poison them. So it's all skin based, and we
today it
are
is. Yeah,
all the same people, and we are one. And
yeah.
that's what they use so much
Mm.
for everything. So we've got the Kurds, Campbell,
The Kurds and the Ways,
the Kurds
the
from
Kurdish.
Mosul, from the city of Mosul,
Yeah, that's
which was once the
up
capital of
in.
Mesopotamia.
Oh, really? Yeah, yeah. Right, Kurdish. Yep, yeah.
So
Mesopotamia
uh,
being basically around Iraq today, right?
yes, so this is where they mix everything up. So it's so hard to find the basis of what we're looking at.
Yeah.
So, and it's written that opposite this capital city was another ancient city, which is Nivelti, which is Ninveti, Nine Veti,
Nine Vetum.
once connected by the bridges of boats. The area described by Oriental I can't speak today. Choreographers, is that right? No, no, no.
Cartographers.
Cartographers, thank you. As one of the most distinguished cities of the Mataharan government,
Matahari. So that's like
the
that's
Arabian, the
Indian.
bulk population being Arabs.
So today Matahari is like related to India
Mm?
again, and a different region, right? So the Arabs, yeah. Well, this is what they do, right? Like everyone thinks that Iran is Iran and not Persia. Like they love, and it's
They
just a
like,
replication of like
again,
city names, right? There's like a Melbourne in Florida. There's a Perth, I think, in the
Georgia,
UK, right? Georgia, yeah. Like they
Israel
replicate
in
these
America.
things, yeah. So they love to do it to confuse us, right?
Yes, so
And to,
we can never get back to the basis of who we originally are.
mm,
It's constant. So Mosul in the 12th century was the epicenter of Eastern commercial trading and considerable manufacturing of silk, cotton, and muslin. Trading to the Mediterranean, Constantinople, Milan, and France. Muslin was called mousseline, a French name that was given. It wasn't the muslin of the Indian type. It was a muslin that was being done, a cotton type muslin that was being done in those areas. So again, we're misled.
yes.
Misled. So
Well,
the
this is the thing. If
muslin,
you don't spend your life following people, you won't be misled.
yes, there is a mention of the word Musolino in a later description, exclusively applied and well-known Indian fabric, but this and its imitations. Another explorer by the name of Ives, Ives, describes
Nice.
Musolino of muslin of a beautiful cloth of cotton, which is very strong and very fine, which is sold to the European and other markets. This does not describe the delicate and fine cotton of the muslin, but rather calico from the city of Calcutta of the East Indies.
East Indies, Calcutta. Well, I guess
Yes,
that's
calico,
Calico.
which
Yeah,
we
yeah.
talked about.
Calcutta, Calico. Interesting.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
I
here we
mean,
go
so
with
all of these like Dutch East Indies Company, West Indies, what was it, the French East Indies? They're just getting all these stocks of all the stuff that was already made in these countries and shipping it round and
making money
making money
and
basically. Yeah,
destroying.
reselling it.
So I found also, I don't know where I put it. I was going to put it in this presentation, but I didn't know it was going to be brought up. But apparently, who's the head of the Dutch East Indies, British East Indies, and the French East Indies, Campbell?
The head?
Yes.
I mean, I would think, what is it, the Dutch monarchs or the UK monarchs?
We've done a series on it. Starts with an R.
Starts with an R. Russian, Romanian.
The Rothschilds.
Oh, yeah, right. Of course.
Yes, they're behind all of the East
children
Indies.
of Roth.
Yep, the children of Roth.
The Ra children.
I always had a feeling they have to, there's never any mention of them, ever. They're not connected with them, but I always thought they have to be connected. How are they connected? They are the umbrella family behind all the East Indies.
The takeover behind everything, right? All the takeover, all commercialization, banking, possessions, consumerism. And that's why we know that they're a massive family, but what do we see? We see like one or two of them, right? That's all, that we ever hear about, but clearly there's a lot of them. Where are they living? Are they on lands?
Yes. Well, we had a viewer send us all the whole history of the Rothschild family, which I found fascinating, and it goes back millenniums.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's very intertwined. It's not a proper family tree that spreads out. It sort of goes because they're all so into bread and everything and psychotic.
Yep.
Bloody Rothschilds.
Yes, I finally found the evidence that I was looking for. So and then we're always led to believe that the British were afraid the French were going to take over what they had, and and Spain and Portugal were going to do this, and it was always the French, it's always the Russians. The French had a lot to do with Australia before the English and even before the Dutch, and they were all in cahoots together. Why did they have one umbrella of the Rothschilds, and then the Dutch East Indies, the British Indies, East Indies, and French? And it all goes back to Batava. Batava, is it Bativa?
Batavia.
Yes, which is in the East Indies. That was their headquarters.
It's the same old story, right? Like they have to spread this story of, all these countries, they don't like each other, they hate each other, so that they can get us to kill each other through war. But then, they all agree on the Antarctic Treaty. They all agree on, the COVID jabby wabby. They all agree on all these things, all the time. They're all at the same meetings, like the Bilderberg Group and all this kind of stuff. But no, they all hate each other and are enemies. I mean, come on, guys.
Yeah. It's so obvious.
Big show. It's so obvious. It's a big show, man. It's a big club and we ain't in it.
That's it. Exactly. So apparently, so that was the muslin, which is also calico, which was also in other parts of the world.
Calcutta, that's interesting.
So, and then cotton and flax, which we talked about, as described by another painter and explorer by the name of Niebuhr. I probably said that wrong, but it's Niebuhr. He also wrote a journal, and he drew what he saw in the 17th century. And he speaks of vast manufacturing in a place called Mush, which borders on Kurdistan.
Kurdistan, yeah.
And Armenia.
Yep.
Marco Polo also describes this city and called it in that time Mardin, which he said was part of Mesopotamia. Mardin, Maredin. So there's cross. So it would have been called Mush when at one stage, and then it's called Mardin.
Well, that they love to do, like I said, they love to do it, right? Because it makes it so confusing to look at old maps and read old books because nothing relates, right?
To what we understand. You
To
look
what
at the
we
maps
know
and the names. We don't
constantly.
even know what they
I
are.
mean, even to the point of like, we call Germany Germany, obviously, but the Germans don't call it Germany; they call it Deutschland.
Yeah.
Like how
And
retarded is that? Japan, they call it Nippon. Like
yes,
that's so. Oh my god.
that's why it's so hard to do our past. It's so deliberate, Campbell.
Mm,
And it's even when I talk to Mum, and she read the Oralinda from the she read it not in English but in the old Friesland language because it's Old Dutch.
yeah, it
So
is.
it, it, it it's so by design, Campbell. The more you look into it,
It's the
and I
Tower of
think
Babel, right? Confound their language,
yes, and I
make
think
them
that's why
babble
a lot of
on.
people, and I think that's why a lot of people aren't ready for this. We're ready because, and your viewers, because we've gone past the programming stage. We're still
Mm.
programmed. Don't get me
Oh,
wrong. We are
totally,
still programmed
totally,
because
yeah.
when I see something that I haven't seen or realised, and it's been right in front of my face, and I see it in a totally different way, I think, okay, that was part of the programming. It's now been broken. Okay, now I can move forward. So this is all part of moving forward, is to understand how manipulated we've been for God knows how long.
Mm. Oh,
So,
totally, totally. There's
so
been so many things that I've come across, and I'm like, that can't be right. What? And then it's a few months later, it's like, bing, it's like, oh, of course. Now I see
yeah,
it.
that's
But that's the thing.
exactly.
You've got to allow yourself to be wrong. If you have to be
Yes,
right all the way, you are stuck. You're
you are
stuck.
stuck.
You're not going anywhere.
And that's what I call the onion layers, Campbell.
Mm.
It's the onion layers that you get stuck one layer and you still, and
Yeah.
that's your gospel. And I understand that, that I always say that it's the Q or the Trump or, whatever is an onion layer that people are stuck on.
Yeah.
And that was all by design. It was
Totally,
all by
man.
design.
Totally. It might make your
So
eyes water, but you got to keep peeling.
that I love that. That is beautiful. That I love that. So yeah, so we've been replicators for a long time. Whoever has been a replicator. So these are just examples, Campbell, of what I've found, and I've done a lot deeper research. But you've got this Niebuhr, who was a German mathematician. He was a cardiologist, a cardiologist. He did maps.
Oh,
Sorry,
yeah.
everyone.
Cartographer. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was the sole survivor of the Royal Danish expedition to Arabia.
Oh,
So
okay.
he drew a lot of pictures and documented the culture of vast ruins of the Middle East from 17 he did that from 1761 to 1767, and I think I've written it down. Yes, you'll find uh, Neibuhr Castan Voyage of Arabia.
So Neibuhr. Okay.
And I sent you photos of that and his voyage of Arabia. It's amazing. So that's one book.
Oh, that was the book.
Yes. So I did send some pictures that he's done from the book
Um, oh, hang on. No,
on
that's
the email.
antiques. Is that? No, that's not him. I
No,
don't
no, it
think.
would be under his name, Castan or Cassan,
Uh,
the Voyage of
yeah.
Arabia. I think I put it in the
Louis
email.
Francois. No, it's not him. Voyage to Arabia. Okay.
That's it.
Where's that? Voyage to Arabia. Mixed
It'll have his
photos.
name at the start, Neibuhr. That'll be
Oh,
on the start of the email.
is that one? N-E-H-R. Mario mixed. No, I don't think I've got it. Antioch, Forbidden City, Louis Francois, no.
Well, you can look at Lewis as well, because he's another one that did the same thing. He just took pictures of ancient sites. He drew pictures of ancient sites. Louis
Oh, so
Cassis.
that was, yes, that's this one. All right. That's this one. So there's a famous picture of the Sphinx looking a bit different, isn't it?
Yeah, have a look at those
Obviously
pictures.
completely buried.
The ancient pictures are amazing, Campbell.
So wow, where's this? Restoration of the temple in Egypt. I mean, that's a big temple, right?
Mm.
Can we go forward? Old temples.
Hey, Campbell, go up and go to the very first one, because that's
This
a
one.
close-up of that temple in Egypt. Have a
Yeah,
look at that.
wow. The winged solar disc, or that's at least what they tell us it is. But look at the size of it. Yeah. Can't really zoom
This is
in.
what we're dealing with, Campbell. We've got no idea what the world looked like, what the realm looked like back then. So it's no wonder that to comprehend going down this textile story of research, we could even comprehend the amount of how big buildings needed to be to keep all this,
Just yeah, the big.
to sustain the manufacturing. And yet manufacturing was everywhere in these areas.
What's this? Syria, the citadel of Homs, up on a hill there. Got all of our Arab-looking or dressed people.
We've already got ancient places already then.
Yeah. So when's this? The
He drew these in the 18th century,
so
1700s.
1700s. That looks like a magnetron. Yeah, I mean, huge temples. Well, here is a
Have a look
nice
at the temple.
port,
Yeah,
right?
look at these. Yeah.
Like a full
These
massive.
are all around Croatia. Look at the ports.
Yeah, look at the size of the ships compared to they're pretty big.
Yep. And there's talk about steamships, even from China.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. Though I guess they would come from China. It was, like China's
So,
got this story that it had the biggest navy in the world and these massive
yes,
like
yes,
junks, and then one emperor just decided to burn them all, the whole fleet.
yeah,
Like
right.
that's the story.
There's still pictures of these huge houseboats on the rivers in China.
Roman amphitheater in Pula.
Pula is unbelievable. That is in Croatia.
That's in
Now look,
Croatia. Yeah, right.
yeah,
See, that's
have
another
look,
one,
look,
right? The shit, what's it called? The one in Rome, the Colosseum.
yeah, they
They
were
tell us
water
there's only one of them. There's only one, but
systems.
when you look into it, they were actually all over the place.
And they're water systems. They were water filtration systems, as far as I'm concerned, and a lot of other
Nice.
people too.
Okay.
They were never used for killing.
No, of course not. That
They
was
were
just how they got
aqueduct. They were
in.
they were part of the aqueduct system, Campbell.
Yeah, right. Well, that would make sense. So we've got an old aqueduct up here that's a bit
Yep.
dilapidated. And I mean, and there's also aqueducts in the Blue Mountain.
Yes.
Blue Mountains in Australia, right? Which we're
Yep.
going to be at in 6 weeks, by the
Look at.
way. Tartariaustralia.com. Come and see us.
Can you go up a little bit, Campbell?
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
it's okay. I
What's
know
this?
you're
Oh,
into,
there it is
you
in the
love your photos.
background.
Yes.
Um,
And look at this fort around it. Every place had walls around it, Campbell.
mm,
That big building on the left,
yes.
this building's huge in the same area.
Yep. massive. And look at the size of these blocks down here.
Yep.
And
And
that's
he's
another
taken,
thing, right? The blocks, they're like, oh, yes, they're in South America and, there's megalithic structures, the few in Russia. But I mean, look at these blocks here. This is from Europe. They were
yep, that's in
everywhere.
Croatia. Yep. And he's drawing these from what he sees in the 18th century. So
So that obviously this is all the attacks, right, that have destroyed these buildings and the
yes,
industry, and they've taken over basically.
correct.
I mean, look at
And
this.
they're still
You would think
destroying.
that was Rome, right, or Greece or something.
Yep.
But this is the vestibule of Diocletian's palace, Croatia. This is Croatia. So on the Baltic Sea in Europe, basically.
Yep.
And look at that. So, and this is why they invented the. I don't think that the Roman Empire ever existed.
No,
I
no.
think they just invented it to explain some of the buildings, and that's why they called them Roman, because they were
Yes.
Roman all over the world, building their buildings, right?
Yes. Yep. Oh, Campbell.
I mean, yeah, there's lots and lots of that. Like, look at these. I mean, these are massive structures.
Massive. On a scale that we
It's
just can't even comprehend.
475
Look at that.
bucks. That's not cheap, but that is huge. Right? That's
Dude,
crazy. Get this image for 350 bucks, or just click
yep.
here and go save image. But they've got this on again. Getty Images, right? Like,
You'll
so
have a ball looking at
Getty
those.
Images, again, they didn't draw this. They've just stolen
No.
someone else's artwork and now they're selling it and they put their bloody watermarks on it all so you can't get your own copy for free. I mean, they don't own this.
Replicators. It's
Replicators,
another
thieves.
replicating system that you got to
Ah,
pay for. Those pictures don't belong to that
they
website.
don't. And then at 400 or 500 bucks a pop, that it's out of the reach of most people to get them and have a
Yeah.
good look at them.
Well, there we go. Replicating, wanting money, making scarcity from something that belongs to all of us.
Exactly. And this is Croatia again. Look at this big, massive walled city on the like port city on the water. Crazy,
Fascinating,
right?
isn't it?
That's crazy. I mean, in Croatia's still got some good castles and things there. Went to a few when I was there. I mean, Croatia's beautiful.
It is.
But
Now,
I mean, look
well,
at this. It used to be a lot better. That's massive.
yeah, everything was massive. That's why now, thank God to textiles that we understand how we've been duped.
So duped, man.
Now, before we close, we have to look at Antelope. There's so
And
many to
yeah,
look at, Campbell. There's so many examples of what we're talking about. It's crazy.
all
But
right.
if you can find
Antioch.
Antioch in Syria,
Yeah. Come on, open up. Why don't you? Oh my gosh, why are you opening there?
now here's another example of replication. It never ends. You've got an AI company now who are starting to replicate. This is the example of this area on computer, on AI, and asking it to replicate what these ancient cities once looked like and put them into a 3D scale, which you will pay for.
Of course, man. Look at this. This is what do they call them? They called circuses? Is that what they were
Yes,
called?
yes,
Circus, yeah. Which is obviously circuit, right? And now we think that a circus has got something to do with clowns and magicians.
yeah, exactly. So
So
this place is an ancient city, and it was
Belag.
founded, get this, Campbell, founded by Alexander the Great's general Seleucus in 300 BC. Located along the Silk Road, the east side of the Oranites River, Orantes River, which is now known as Antakya, Antakya, in Turkey, in the province of Turkey.
Antikythera, is that near? What's that machine they found? The Antikythera mechanism. You know that.
Oh, yes, yes.
Is that related?
So Ant, Akaya, Akya. It's what it's called now.
Antikythera, all right. And so they found it when Alexander the
The
not so
Great.
great was ropping through the countryside, sacking. They found this and took it over, I guess.
His general found it, so it was named after his general's father in 300 BC.
Antioch, here we go. Oh, sign in to save.
So this is the 3D that they're talking about, that they're going to reconstruct the whole ancient city so people can see how people lived back then. Again, we're replicating.
Yeah. The simulation, man, the simulation. Antioch was an ancient Greek city on the east side of the Orontes River. It is now known as Antakya, which is located in Turkey's Hatay province. Was founded 300 BC by Alexander the Great's general Seleucus. Yeah, right. Antioch became the seat of a Roman governor, and it also became the seat of the Greek and those people community.
Yes.
During the Second Temple period. Well, isn't that interesting? They seem to pop up everywhere, don't they?
Yes. There's more to yep.
Community during the Second Temple period, it played an important role in the emergence of early Christianity, as it was where Paul the Apostle converted to Judaism, from Judaism to Christianity.
Here we go.
Due to warfare, repeated earthquakes, and a change in trade routes, Antioch declined in importance during the Middle Ages and the Mongol conquest. So, I mean, that whole story of Mongol conquest as well, right?
Yeah.
It's all the same thing. It's all the same invasion, just like Napoleon, just like Alexander the Great, all the different wars. It's all the same people.
And even Genghis Khan, we'll talk about that in a minute, but Genghis Khan's story has got me questioning too. But this became a rival of Alexandria as the chief city of Levant. Now, Levant was a very important place for manufacturing of textiles again.
There's another Colosseum sitting there, right?
Yep.
They were everywhere, guys, not just in Greece. On the island in the Orontes River. That's a big river, if that's on an island in a river.
Look how big it is.
So this is all AI, yeah, right.
Yeah, this is all reproduced. Like I said, they want to reproduce what these ancient cities look like. So it's all going through AI now. But that's the aqueduct system.
Mm.
So they're taking all the old drawings and reproducing them. You'll be paying for all this because you'll be able to go in and believe you're in there, like a game.
Oh, yeah, walk around and everything. Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's what it's building up for, I reckon.
Campbell's Circus Excavation Area. Well, he must have been a smart dude.
That's the circus. So-called circuit. Yeah, circuit system. And that's a picture of it. That's the one I was looking for. That's Cassis, I think, as well. That's his painting, yes.
Yeah,
of that area.
Cassis.
That he saw in the 1700s. Now, does that look like the Wall of China right there as well?
Oh, well, yeah, down here it does for sure. So, yeah, the walls, right? Exactly. Like there was probably big walls everywhere, and we've just been fed a story about the Great Wall of China, right? Look at this.
Yes. Yeah. Another Great Wall.
It's just probably part of a walled city. Yeah, right. Model of a Roman bath. Wow. That looks like something rather than a bath. I don't know what, but it definitely looks
like a computer chip.
Yeah, yeah. These look like magnetrons, like all these different like that's looks like tech of some kind, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. And this is what they believe it looked like.
Oh, okay. And here's the Great Wall of Antioch. Look at that.
in
And there's also
Syria.
one in Pakistan.
Yep, there's one in America.
It's huge. It's on America. Okay, I haven't seen that
Yes,
one.
there's a wall in America that no one can explain. It goes for kilometres.
Yeah, that I think I have seen that actually, just out in the bush kind of thing, isn't
Yeah,
it?
out in the
Kind of
middle of nowhere.
out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, yeah.
But look at the size of
Look
this
at
place,
look at the
Campbell.
walls, yeah, compared to the people. And again, right, you get these little wooden
Yeah,
shack sort of things that are built by the invaders who try and tell us that they built all of this as well.
yeah. It's always
That's all
there,
they
isn't
can
it?
manage, right? Their little shanty shack. I mean, look, just look at the aqueducts here, man. Double layered aqueduct.
Yeah, no, it's just the
It's just,
technology, Campbell.
there we go. All right, we've got a few little points looking like, a bit of a star city there. Wonder, there's the Citadel. There you
Yep.
go. So that's basically what we would call a star city.
So that's
Wall.
just one city on the Silk Road. Now, Genghis Khan is known for apparently building cities along the Silk Road to make trade easier. He never built anything. He just took over, I
Took
believe, what
over.
was already there.
Well, I mean, we'll look at this again, a massive walled city, right? And
Yep.
then what have we got on the outside? Like tents.
Yes.
Tents. This is the invaders, right? They can manage a tent.
I
Right?
love it.
It's so dumb. Those wacky founders.
Those wacky founders, all right. So
Jeez.
is there another one of pictures, Campbell? Because I'm sure there's one more there of
There
pictures.
is drawings, mixed photos, including the
Yeah,
Silk
just do
Road.
that. So, like I said, this is just a taste of what was on the Silk Road. If we really want, I mean, we've also, before we go, got to show the video that Gillis did a video for us. I asked him to check the
Oh,
Silk
hang
Road
on.
for me. You'll be
Maybe
amazed.
have we seen these ones? I think we've seen
Yeah,
these
we've
ones.
seen these ones. There's another one.
What have we got here?
My family have all come home.
Inventions, no Antioch Asian population drawings to look at. We've looked at that, haven't we? Edward's coronation,
No,
Forbidden City today, Hidden City. I think that's it.
it would have been from. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We'll talk about
I think
quickly about.
that's it.
There's another
Well,
book as well, Campbell, that was written in 1421, and it's by, would you believe, the author's name was Gavin Mill.
Gavin.
Yes, which I wouldn't have thought was a 1421
Gavin, yeah.
name, but
That doesn't
anyway,
sound like an old name, does it? Old
it could
Gav.
be that he's rewritten it from it, but it's called The Year China Discovered the World. And
Interesting.
yeah, and guess what's in there? Australia.
Oh, really? 1421.
Mm. We've been lied to
Interesting.
so much, Campbell.
Oh,
It's crazy.
yeah. I
So
know
this is.
what is true.
Can you actually look up this guy? NEI
Yeah, Neibur.
Buhr.
Neighbor map, or should I just put in neighbor?
No, he does the Voyage of Arabia.
Oh, okay.
I know we've covered a lot today. It's great. But it just gives everyone a little bit of a taste on how much we've been lied to, in my opinion. It's my opinion. Doesn't have to be everyone's opinion, but
Carsten neighbor.
that's it.
So that's
Have a
him.
look at what he drew of the ancient world.
Some statues there.
There's a book. His book's worth $10,000.
Yeah, this looks like it's from the book. I'll see if I
So,
can find it on Wayback Machine or somewhere here. Is this it?
so the thing is,
Travels in Arabia. There you go.
oh,
Countries in
nice.
the East by neighbor.
So
So
this is another
here's
thing.
one of the things
Anything
he
that
drew.
we look at anything
Oh,
that we want to look at, a lot of it's in private collections, Campbell.
I know. Don't they love to do that?
Yes.
They
I
go
mean,
around, they steal it all. Oh God, what's going on here? Go away.
and they put it in private collections, and the only time you can get it is through sites, again, replicating
Yeah,
sites that sell the books at auctions or Soulbees or
yeah.
Selby's or wherever.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
But that he is so interesting, and where he comes from France originally, from this huge palace in France, is his family. But his pictures tell a lot.
Alami, that's another gatekeeper, right? Who get all the images and watermark
Yeah.
them all. And
Yep. Absolutely.
so that's
They're
his
all
book
gatekeepers,
there.
Campbell.
Travels Through Arabia, M. Neba, Volume 1 and 2. All right, I'll see if I can find those actual books.
Yes.
Um,
And
I've
do
got
a, a thing,
few sites because
a
they're not
show on
giving
it.
us, yeah, they're not giving us much here.
But there's a lot to look at. Even the coins that he draws from Arabia tell a lot. The coins are amazing. But the
Travels
temples that he
through.
draws and everything that he sees on these voyages, Campbell, it just blows your mind. So there are books of references that you can check, which is what I love to do. I love reading about the people.
So yeah, it definitely it exists, but they're not giving us a lot of pictures. They want us to pay for them, right? That's
Yes.
all we get. Not even like just 5 or 6 lines.
And this is why another way of gatekeeping, isn't it, Campbell? Because people that want to research, they don't want to bother going and paying for things. They just want to look at the pictures.
Yeah, yeah, exactly right. I mean, so it might be here, the Wayback Machine. Let's have a look.
Do you
Wayback
use that a lot?
Machine. Yeah, it's got some good stuff. There's a few like Get Gallagher is a good one as well. So there's a few that's
Yeah.
like just old books. So there's a few different sites you can use. But oh, come on, computer, what are you doing?
So I think we're going to have to talk about what came out of that area since God knows when. But you know what? Off the top of my head, what came from China was not only silk, pasta came from China.
Well,
Didn't
I've
come from,
often thought about that because spaghetti, and then you got noodles,
yes, pasta
noodles,
came from
right?
that area. Yep.
Yeah.
The
Not
wheelbarrow came from that area.
oh, the wheelbarrow. Okay.
The
No,
wheelbarrow.
nothing in
Of
Wayback
course,
Machine.
tea, and then we've got coffee from the Arab areas and China. China had coffee too, gold, silver, the normal things, a lot of different textiles. Um, Also, the earthquake detection machine.
Oh, like seismic, the
Yes, yes,
seismic
because
thing.
apparently very early on in the area they had a lot of earthquakes, which destroyed again
Oh,
some of the
actually, I may have
cities.
heard something about that.
Yes, and
What?
this
Yeah, and it could
they can't
detect
even make it
movements in the.
now.
Yeah, yeah.
It's fascinating. I saw a video on it. It's fascinating. The video goes for a long time. That's why I didn't put it up. But I'll find the video and you can put it on the link if you want. But it describes this huge metal system that literally had, from memory, some form of a dragon head or a horse head or something, where something dropped out of, and it's just so elaborate and so intricate. And we're talking BC times. We're not
Mm.
even talking the centuries that we talk about.
Mm.
And they can't even redo this with the technology because there's little intricate parts of it that has been it's gone. They
It's
can't
too,
replicate.
yeah.
They
And
get another replication. Um,
BC is before the conquest.
yes. And then there was a bamboo system. That's right. They were looking for water in the desert. And the bamboo system that they designed, again, they can't replicate now. And that bamboo system literally, for somehow they were able to dig like many feet down under the ground, and then they just support it with the bamboo frames. Then they had another system on top. Then they had a pulley system, and then they had like a crane system, and it all worked like brilliantly to just get
Yeah.
loads and loads of water from under the ground.
Yeah.
And again, the
It's
technology they
gone.
can't
Yep.
reproduce.
They had them as well, like that went up into the air and drew water out of the air.
Yes,
They had air conditioned like buildings and houses, like BC. They had
yes,
all these
air conditioning.
systems that just worked, but off nature, right? Off
Yep,
natural things. None of this bloody needing the electric closed circuit and bloody all these gases that are not very good for us. It's all been, and
that's
that's
right.
the thing. It was all done, and everything we get now is just a replicant, right? Just
Yep,
just just a shadow of what it was. Just it's
yep,
yeah.
absolutely. I mean, astrology came from there. We had Marco Polo talks about a city that was just full of astrologers. And this is another thing. The cities that he goes to was like the guild, what we were talking with the guilds.
Mm,
They specialized in what they manufactured, or the spirituality of what they did, or
yeah, or their
the medicines,
information.
like
Yeah,
our medicines, acupuncture, our medicines, our everything came from
yeah.
this area, Campbell. I mean, I can't even think of it on the top of my head, but it
Well, we,
is
we get
fascinating.
we get washed out versions like the three wise men. They tell us we're astrologers, right?
Yes.
So they would have clearly been from one of these guilds. Clearly the story's been all messed up and changed
Yeah.
around, but you do get like little snippets, left in these old books. Well, how
Yep.
old they are, I don't know, but
Yep.
yeah, that's very
So
interesting.
India, all that area along the Silk Road, this is where all our textiles and
Yeah,
everything, I believe, in my opinion, all came from. Everything we use came from those areas, and they're still coming from
and
those areas. Nothing has changed.
no, yeah,
Nothing.
exactly. Like we
It's
said,
just
China, that's still the manufacturing giant. Taiwan, Korea, and of course India with the Vedas, right? Like,
yes,
of course, we're told that oh no, it's all about spirituality and religion, but no, that's full of like astrology, health, frequency stuff, healing, like basically
yep.
all the
The
ways to
ether,
yeah, how to live properly, right? With the earth energy. But
yes,
they changed it
yes,
all into this religion crap. Makes you
yep.
think it's all about a god that's outside of you.
And the basic umbrella came from China as well.
Yes, yes, yes. And the parasol, yeah, exactly. I know, right?
So I've got 20 pages that I sent to you of what
Yes.
came from China. So what it tells me is that every area there they were all creators. They all had their specialties of what they wanted to create, whether it be philosophy, whether it be astrology, whether it be medicine, whether it be silks, textiles, rugs, you name it, came from that whole Silk Road area right through to Persia, Armenia, Russia, everywhere it all came from, and then even parts of early Europe. So it's fascinating, and I think they're the original from the originals. And then it's been replicated after replicated after replicated to a point where it's just replicated to crap, like we've said, even from China and India. It's all replicated from the original.
Hmm.
And we all know once you keep photocopy, 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 what happens? You hardly get the
It's
image
exactly
anymore.
right. It gets worse and worse till it disappears. And
So,
this is the thing with jobs, right? People used to,
yes,
find their natural calling, their natural talents, and that's where they'd go, right? Into those guilds. But now, no, no, they put you through bloody school and crap, and you have to sit in some stupid office or whatever doing a job that you hate. I mean, it's
yep.
so we've definitely gone backwards, not forwards.
And even to the fact, I don't know if you can see on my tattoo. See that tattoo there with that there?
Yeah. Is that like a
That's the
temple, like
crown.
a,
That's my crown.
oh, okay.
That's my shield from my family on my mother's side, which goes back to the 10th century. Um, how many of us have got the original shield or the crown of our families, which no one, I know there were people ages ago, I actually was in contact with someone on Telegram. That's all he did, was look at the crowns and the shields of families,
Yeah, well,
of generations of families.
my grandfather got ours back to the 1500s, but I've got to find it. Like, my mad uncle ended up with it, and he was just a grumpy old bastard, and then he died, so I don't even know where it's ended up. So I've got to try and find that, because like my granddad did it properly, like all the way back,
Yep.
Before the convicts, before we got sent out here as convicts and all that kind of stupidity. I mean, I don't even know if that's true. Like, who
Yep.
knows, man? It's just probably a big story, but yeah, I've got to get onto that, see if I can find my family crest or crown or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do that, because I've done all that. I spent 7 years doing my family history, and it's just fascinating, absolutely fascinating. And I found out more from my mother in the last few weeks about our connection with the Freemasons, which
Ooh,
is a huge story too.
right. The
I
old
think so many
Freemasons.
people were, so many,
Jeez.
but ours was
Well, I
was
mean, the thing
full
is,
on.
though, back in the start, like that was probably just another guild sort of thing, right? It wasn't the evil ones that we hear about today that are like, psychotic and controllers and all that. Like it started off as like about masonry, right? Like as in bricks and mortar and rock work and all, the builders.
Well, see,
But
my great grandfather was in the arts guild, and
the
because he
Arse
had an
Guild,
art, yes, in Amsterdam.
the
So
Arse Guild, did you?
the artists, like
Oh,
artists,
art,
the
arts.
painting. So not
Okay.
art.
I
Sorry,
thought
that's
you said
me.
the Arts Guild. The Arts Guild. That's much better, much more refined.
Oh, there's my isms going. My sister will just crack up when she watches this. So yeah, he was part of the Artists Guild in
Artists.
Amsterdam, which were, you know, he had a gallery and he was an artist himself. I've got some beautiful paintings, and I've got antiques that belong to my great grandfather because he was an antique dealer and in Amsterdam. So there's just so much on my side of the family that is just goes into all this stuff,
Mm.
including the
Yes, I'm gonna have to
Freemasonry.
get into mine. I'm gonna have to find this. There's a suitcase somewhere full of stuff from my whole
Yeah.
family lineage, but I'll have to find it somewhere around. I don't know where.
But this is something else, and yet you've got families that can't go past 1850, especially in America
So
and especially
many.
in Australia.
Mm. Yeah.
So why do some of us able to go right back and some of us aren't able to go right back? What is going on there?
Wow, it's a good question, right? It could have something to do with the whole orphan thing, orphan trains, like they could have just cut their lineage, right? You turn them into orphans and then they don't even know their parents, right? If you're an orphan, you don't know who your parents are, so you can't go back in your family line.
But it's even to the point of, I know we're going off track again, but what bugs me is when I did that whole stuff for Guy, was that, like I said, the population was between 1 and 2 million in London alone, and there was so many children. We were able to populate Australia, Canada,
Yep. The
America,
Americas, yep.
you
Half of
know,
Europe, yep.
and other parts of the colonialism takeover. How did we end up with so many bloody children all of a sudden?
Wow,
That doesn't
because,
happen.
someone went through and destroyed cities and killed all the adults.
Mm.
Got the children and reprogrammed them right into this dumb reality that we need to look
But
up
it would
to
have.
authority, right?
Why didn't it happen anywhere else though, Campbell? There was other countries that they could have got them. They could have got them from India. They could have got them from China. They could have got them from Persia. They
Africa.
could have got it for Armenia. But no, they got them from England, Ireland, England. What was going on in that time where there was?
Good question.
Mm.
Yes.
Because they were the ones that were supposed to run the factories. So, and they were the ones that populated the Americas. So England, why? Why just England? If we had all these wars and children that were, left without parents all around the world, then they'd come from all around the world to populate these
Yeah,
these
yeah.
places. But they only came from England and Ireland.
Most, yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely the bulk of them. Of course, then you
Mm.
got the incubator children, but I mean, England and Ireland, and Scotia. right? Like you go up there a bit more and you're very soon at what, the Shetland Islands, Iceland, and you're pretty close to where Friesland was, right? And the Oralinda
Mhm.
book.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, is that got something to do with it all? You
And
know?
and across from Wales, you've got the Basil Island, which disappeared every 7 years, which I wrote in the newspaper about, and people live
Ooh,
there. So
yes. Well, that's
you know,
another big narrative. There's
it's
more than one disappearing island that we get told about, right?
yeah. And like we said, maybe they were guilds, maybe they were islands, especially for places that they didn't want other places to invade, so they were at the capacity of moving. That's why you have cities in the air. And when we talked about the chains on some of these star cities that were huge, where were they getting moved to? Anyway, I'm going off track.
That's a whole nother show. We'll get there one day. All right. Oh, geez. Gosh, I think we've almost
Well,
done
we
two and a
go.
half hours. Bloody hell.
Well, everyone's used to that, Campbell.
I know. Yes.
They're
Another
used to
long one,
watching it for two
guys.
and a half hours. They don't care.
All right. Well, there you go. Another one. So, yeah, we'll be back. Well, maybe next week, maybe in 2 weeks, depending on how Paula and her
Give
father
me
go.
2 weeks.
Probably a couple of weeks to get it all sorted,
Yeah,
and then we'll close this one off, and then we'll get
yeah.
into, well, Australia and what was it, and
I
all
think
these
we'll do
Javas.
Jolly Jarvis.
Javas.
Well, let us know what you want to know, guys. Do I continue on the Silk Road and we go and look at Marco Polo's journey and we look at the 20 pages of inventions and products that came from China over the millennium? Let us know.
Yeah, let us know in the
I think
comments. Give
Marco
us a
Polo
like,
will
share
be
it round,
a
all that
really,
stuff. Yeah, well, Marco's a big story, right? I
yeah,
mean, we all know the
definitely.
name, we all know a bit of the story that he was a traveler and that, but yeah, I haven't really seen any good deep dives on him, with all this, research of the old
No,
world. So it would be, definitely worth a dedicated episode. I mean, all we know
yes.
in Australia is that, it's a game you play in the pool. That's all we.
That's it. And you know why he has, by all the historical society gatekeepers, they all don't believe him for one reason and one reason only, and it's because he never mentions tea. And China was known for the tea. So as far as and I've said it before, I think the reason why, and I thought about this and thought about this and thought, no, his journey is far too detailed for it not to be an accurate
Of course.
story of what he saw,
It's just,
far too
yeah,
detailed.
yeah,
And I think the reason why tea wasn't mentioned was probably because tea wasn't even there at the time Marco Polo
yeah.
was there.
Well, that could well
Simple.
be right, or it could have been prepared differently. It could have had a different name, but it's the
Yep.
same old story, right? You get all this information, and they just find one bit and go, "No, it's false." It's like all the old maps. They're so
Yes.
detailed. They got all this stuff, and then they go, "Oh, but there's a dragon there, so it's all crap."
Yeah.
It's
And
just
they reckon the
not at all.
dragon was put in to get attention. It's like a media, frenzy thing where if you put something weird and wonderful in it or something from mythology, then people will take more notice of the map because it'll make it more interesting. No, no, no. They're ancient maps that they haven't taken those parts out of. It's
No,
like the photo
exactly.
shopping of our photos in the 19th century. They
Yeah,
took out what they don't want you to have and left in what they want that follows the narrative. It's
I
everywhere.
know, guys. Believe in dinosaurs. Don't believe in dragons.
It's so silly, isn't it?
Oh, it all happened millions and billions of years ago.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly.
All
Okay,
right.
everyone. Love
Yes.
you
Thanks for
all.
watching, guys. Stay awesome, and we'll be back in a few weeks. Like,
Absolutely.
share it around, all that kind of good stuff. Bye
And
for now.
thanks for your comments. I love them.
Yes.
Bye.
See you guys.